Nostradamus issues an alert about 3 countries that will face collapse in 2025. Chaos will be established, borders will dissolve, economies will collapse, and the world as we know it will be transformed in an unimaginable way. This message is not merely speculation or alarmism, but rather reflects the unsettling words of the legendary seer of the 16th century, whose prophecies about wars, revolutions, and the fall of great nations have echoed through the centuries. However, imagine if his visions for 2025 were even more terrifying than anything we have witnessed. For centuries, Nostradamus' enigmatic quatrains have sparked heated debates. Some dismiss them as mere coincidences, while others acknowledge a surprising accuracy in them. From global conflicts to economic crises, his words seem to connect with historical events, and now as 2025 approaches, the question arises: did Nostradamus predict the collapse of 3 powerful nations? And if so, are we already witnessing the first signs of this disintegration? Before we delve into these astonishing revelations, I invite you to support this journey. Give a like, share with those who seek hidden truths, and subscribe to continue following in-depth analyses of the most enigmatic prophecies in history. If you wish to expand your knowledge, consider joining our exclusive community, where seekers of wisdom gather to explore the mysteries that shape our reality. Click join and dive into a universe that goes beyond the surface. France, the harbinger of a revolution won. France, the beginning of a new revolution. Nostradamus, the enigmatic seer of the 16th century, left behind mysterious verses that many interpret as a prediction of the fate of nations. Among these, his quatrains about France have gained notoriety for their surprising relevance to current events. In quatrain 14 of the 1st century, he describes, "From the chants, cries, and demands of the oppressed people, while princes and nobles are imprisoned. In the future, they will be treated as headless fools, regarded as divine prayers." Such words paint a disturbing scenario that seems to reflect the situation in contemporary France, where social discontent has been intensifying. In recent years, the country has witnessed massive protests, strikes, and a deep malaise generated by economic hardships, controversial governmental policies, and social inequalities. This image of the oppressed people resonates with the reality of the streets of Paris, where voices of revolt rise against the established power. History reveals that France has a revolutionary tradition, from the fall of the Bastille in 1789 to the protests of May 1968. Could 2025 be the turning point for a new historical transformation? The verses mentioning imprisoned princes and nobles suggest the possibility of a politically significant upheaval, with leaders being deposed or arrested. We have already seen corruption scandals and judicial proceedings involving political figures, and the current scenario in France, known for toppling oppressive regimes, might be on the verge of experiencing a new revolution. If indeed the country is heading toward that moment, what lessons can we draw? In times of uncertainty, it is crucial to keep our feet on the ground. As Buddha once taught, everything is impermanent and change is constant. However, the way we react to it defines our future. If history truly repeats itself, French citizens and the world must question whether this revolution will be constructive or merely another turbulent cycle. 2. China, the fall of a superpower. Throughout the centuries, Nostradamus' enigmatic prophecies have evoked both fascination and apprehension among those who try to decipher the future. One of his most unsettling predictions, found in quatrain 17 of the 1st century, describes a sudden fall, a world shaken by 3 brothers and a whirlwind of disasters: famine, fire, blood, and plague, with all evils in double measure. This verse has been interpreted by some as a reference to China, a nation that for a long time established itself as a superpower, but which today faces growing signs of instability. Those who live in tranquility will be suddenly overthrown, the world plunged into trouble by 3 brothers. Enemies will seize the maritime city: famine, fire, blood, plague, all evils in double measure. For decades, China demonstrated strength and stability, but beneath the surface, cracks are beginning to appear. The expression "will be suddenly overthrown" can be understood as a harbinger of a drastic change in leadership, whether through an internal rebellion within the Communist Party or a popular uprising. The combination of economic difficulties, increased governmental control, and growing discontent suggests that stability might not be as solid as it appears. This scenario is already manifesting in protests in Hong Kong, tensions around Taiwan, and internal disputes within China's political elite. Could 2025 be the turning point for this superpower? The mention of the three brothers has been the subject of intense debate. Some interpret this reference as an indication of a power struggle involving three global superpowers, China, the United States, and Russia, that could escalate into a conflict of great proportions. Others suggest it refers to internal factions within China, with rival leaders contesting control. Given the firm control of President Xi Jinping, one wonders if a hidden rivalry is forming. Moreover, the phrase famine, fire, blood, plague, all evils in double measure, reinforces a scenario of calamity. Issues such as food shortages, supply chain disruptions, and poor economic management, aggravated by censorship, increase rumors of an impending crisis. The reference to fire and blood might allude to civil unrest or even military conflict, especially in light of rising tensions over Taiwan and territorial disputes in the South China Sea. The mention of plague could evoke fears of a new pandemic or a health crisis. When these factors combine, Nostradamus' vision of widespread suffering becomes chillingly relevant. If China experiences an internal collapse, the consequences will transcend its borders. The impact on its robust economy would affect global markets, causing financial instability, disruptions in trade, and crises in countries dependent on Chinese investments. A power struggle within China's leadership could also reduce its influence on the international stage, altering alliances and military strategies worldwide. If the maritime city mentioned in the prophecy refers to regions like Taiwan or Hong Kong, it would serve as a warning of a possible invasion or a control dispute that plunges the region into conflict. If such a confrontation of great magnitude unfolds, how will other nations react? As we approach 2025, the signs of disorder become increasingly hard to ignore. What a decade ago seemed unlikely, a divided China with internal instability and global repercussions, now appears as a plausible reality. The pressing question is, are we witnessing the first indications of a radical transformation in the world order? Are Nostradamus' warnings materializing before our eyes? Reflect. Do you see these signs? Are we on the brink of a historic change, with a superpower at risk of collapsing? If you share this view, leave your comment saying, "The storm is coming," and let's debate the implications for the future. 3. United States, the fall of a leader, the fragmentation of a nation. Throughout history, great civilizations have risen and fallen in ways that are often unimaginable. Nostradamus' enigmatic prophecies, which have captivated minds for centuries, continue to resonate today. In his Quatrain 26 of the 1st century, he narrates the fall of a powerful leader, struck by lightning, a chaotic moment that changes the course of history. The great man will be struck by lightning during the day, a malevolent act announced by the bearer of a petition. This prediction might be pointing to 2025, at a time when political instability, sharp divisions, and social discontent are reaching unprecedented levels in the United States. Consider this. The United States has already faced episodes of political violence, scandals, and internal conflicts, but never in an era where technology, global tensions, and internal polarization are so interconnected. If a prominent leader were to fall, would that be an isolated incident or the beginning of a chain reaction that transforms the nation? The reference to lightning may symbolize something more than a simple attack. It could represent an unexpected revelation, an internal betrayal, or even a crisis that profoundly shakes the people's confidence. History teaches us that the fall of a leader often generates economic turbulence, social instability, and even military conflicts. Could 2025 mark the breaking point for the world's most influential democracy? The signs are already evident. Massive protests, heated ideological disputes, and deep social divisions create an environment reminiscent of the periods preceding collapse. Some scholars point out that growing discontent among the states could even trigger secessionist movements, fragmenting the Union both physically and politically. What would be the global impact of a potential fragmentation of the United States? Financial markets would suffer shocks, international alliances would be reconfigured, and adversaries might see an opportunity to expand their influence. Should we ask ourselves, are we simply watching history unfold, or are we ignoring crucial warning signs? Nostradamus' words, long debated, continue to have a disturbing resonance today. Are we on the verge of a transformation that will change the course of the world? Share your thoughts. Are these warnings mere speculation, or is there a deeper foundation behind them? I invite you to reflect and debate this possibility. Cultivating serenity in turbulent times. Buddhist Lessons 4. Keep your mind steady amid turbulence. We live in an age filled with uncertainties, economic crises, political conflicts, natural disasters, and pandemics. Amid so much disorder, the question arises: how do we maintain inner peace? How can we train our minds to remain stable in the face of incessant changes? 5. Accepting change, the essence of existence. Life is in constant motion. Nothing remains static. Just as the seasons change and the tides vary, our moments of joy and sorrow come and go. Buddha taught that impermanence is the natural law of existence. Everything is in flux. Yet many resist this reality, clinging to what is familiar and avoiding the unknown, which only leads to suffering. The only constant is change, Buddha said, and by accepting this truth, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain. Imagine a river that, when encountering an obstacle, doesn't stop but flows around it and continues on its path. This is how our minds should learn to adapt. In a world where uncertainties affect everything from job security to personal relationships and financial stability, cultivating mental resilience becomes essential, much like a tree that bends with the wind without breaking. 6. Maintaining mental clarity, mastering emotions. When we are inundated with negative news and heated debates on social media, it's easy for fear, anger, and anxiety to take control. If not managed, these emotions can blind us, preventing a clear analysis of the facts and leading to impulsive reactions. Buddha compared an undisciplined mind to a restless monkey, leaping from one thought to another. To avoid being held hostage by external events, it is crucial to develop mindfulness and reflect before reacting. A time-honored practice such as meditation teaches us to create a space between stimulus and response, allowing for a more considered reaction. Additionally, being selective with the information we consume and avoiding constant immersion in negativity can help preserve our serenity. Maintaining a clear mind does not mean ignoring reality, but rather facing it without emotional distortions, allowing wisdom to emerge and empower us to meet challenges. 7. Developing compassion, the force that heals suffering. In times of crisis, the mind often becomes restless and dominated by worries, fears, and frustrations. However, there is a force capable of bringing peace not only to ourselves, but also to those around us: compassion. Buddha taught that hatred does not dissipate with more hatred, but with love. The practice of compassion goes beyond grand gestures. It is manifested in simple acts, such as offering a kind word, listening attentively, or sending positive energy to those in suffering. By helping others, we lighten our own burden, dissolving feelings of isolation and fostering a deep connection with the world. This approach transforms suffering into strength and can serve as the foundation for a more harmonious and resilient society. 8. Rediscovering yourself. Reserve time for inner reflection. Amid the whirlwind of changes and uncertainties, it's easy to lose ourselves in external chaos. Yet the most powerful thing we can do is to turn our gaze inward, reconnect with our essence, and find inner calm. As Buddha taught, true peace comes from within. Do not seek it outside. Practices such as meditation, reading inspirational texts, and moments of silence in nature help calm the mind and clear our thoughts. Even a few minutes of daily introspection can create a space of serenity that allows us to face turbulence with clarity and resilience. Just as a serene lake reflects with clarity, a peaceful mind reveals the wisdom that resides within. 9. Acting with wisdom, transforming worry into meaningful action. While it is natural to worry about the future in uncertain times, anxiety itself does not solve problems. Buddha taught that fear and anguish arise from clinging to expectations and the illusion of permanent stability. By recognizing the impermanence of all things, we can free ourselves from the cycle of suffering. Instead of allowing ourselves to be paralyzed by fear, it is crucial to focus our efforts on what is within our control. Taking care of our physical and mental health, investing in continuous learning, and maintaining financial discipline are ways to strengthen our resilience. Every small step toward conscious action helps break the cycle of helplessness and builds a more stable future. Remember, The path to inner peace does not lie in controlling everything, but in mastering one's own mind and acting with clarity. The lessons drawn from history and ancient teachings remind us that change is inevitable, but our response to it is in our hands. Nostradamus's prophecies, though interpreted in various ways, urge us to remain vigilant, prepared, and open to the transformations that are emerging. Are we witnessing the beginning of the disintegration of great nations, or will a new course emerge? Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your perspective. If you found this content thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to continue exploring with us the mysteries of history, philosophy, and the reality that surrounds us. Activate notifications so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Thank you for joining this journey. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive and continue seeking wisdom.